What's going on here exactly, Dan?
Well, Rich, Hoshine is this company. They take sand, rocks, they burn them up, they turn it into silicon, which is later refined into polysilicon that goes onto solar panels. And their big factories are out in Xinjiang. They've been connected by researchers to programs out there that the U.S. and the United Nations and others have said, promote forced labor. So the U.S. put these restrictions on them more than a year ago, and in that time, the demand for solar products is such that the company has had no problems whatsoever. The share price has more than doubled. The wealth of the family that owns it has more than doubled. They're worth more than $12 billion now. And so, researchers are looking at them as one example of a company that, really calls into question how the U.S. And other countries can sort of effectively police labor standards around the world.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. Doesn't that kind of just point to the fact that there's sort of limits to the U.S. sanctions here too? What can we learn from Hoshine?
One of the big things to learn is that this company, China, is such a dominant player in the solar supply chain that it takes more than just sticks. If countries or companies want to create an anti-slavery supply chain, they need to also, sort of promote and give incentives to companies to build supply chains that focus on labor standards and are free from forced labor. And you can't just sort of try to restrict the world and make it change that way. You have to bring some carrots with the sticks.
Yeah. Also, you've got to have a market position, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is China produces 98% of the world's solar wafers. It's easier for China to find new buyers of solar materials than it is for the U.S. to find new sellers. And so this is one of those cases where, it hurts. It's almost like cutting off your nose to spite your face. It hurts the sanctioner more than it does the sanctionee to restrict trade with this company.